Looking back, I do not even recognize the person I was when I first heard about Arbonne on so many different levels. There are so many different layers to this company to explore, from the transformation using the products, to the personal growth through our amazing community of like-minded consultants, and the possibilities to create more choice through our business opportunity. So before I begin, please refer to earnings.arbonne.com for the annual typical earnings of an Arbonne independent consultant. I think my lack of self-belief definitely held me back, but the thing I couldn't ignore was the difference in choices Stuart had created by just getting on with it and being consistent, sharing the business opportunities, selling products to PCs and clients, and building a team who does the exact same thing.
Shalom, shalom. I hope everything's going well for you. I'm glad to be back with another video. And before I get into the actual topic, I will say, the people, the subject of this video are very well liked. In fact, beloved by many. And I'm not here to necessarily try to take away any of their admiration or that they shouldn't deserve it. But I think this is something very worth pointing out about them. And even though I have an issue with a part of their lives that I've kind of come to know very recently, I want to say that I don't wish them any hate. I don't necessarily think they should stop living the way they're living or doing what they're doing. Good people, and these people are generally seen as very good, do things that are not good all the time. And I'm criticizing these people's form of income. I will say, I worked at companies like, just office desk job, like a yearly annual salary jobs at companies that did a lot of terrible things. With some of them, especially one, if the government knew what this company was doing. But what was I gonna do? Not have a job? This is the company that would hire me. You need money. I mean, Amazon is unethical, and I'm sure many of us have ordered something off Amazon out of necessity because we need something very quickly right now, and Amazon's the only one who can deliver it. But anyway, okay, so for all you don't know, Stuart and Francis are two TikTok parents. They started their TikTok journey around 2021 documenting their surrogacy journey, and now they have 2 children. They upload mini vlogs quite regularly, a few times a week, so pretty much all of their lives are available on the app. And if you've been a follower for a long time, you probably know them very well. Like, not know them as if you've spoken to them, but you know them very well because they've just shared so much. So if you actually met them in person, I'm sure you could instantly start a conversation with them about something and all. And overall, they seem like very nice people. And with many TikTokers and people who broadcast their lives, naturally there's going to be a lot of questions as to their lives. Questions that a lot of the times these people are willing to answer, or sometimes they want to keep some things private. And every influencer has a right to keep part of their lives private, absolutely. Even ones that do share a lot of their life. But the line of what is okay to share, what does the audience deserve to know, and what they don't can get very blurred. Because let's take like a celebrity, an actor, an actress. You don't know them for their personal lives. You know them for something specific they do, a transaction, a talent they deliver. But as we know, being a lifestyle influencer, a vlogger, isn't necessarily, it can be a talent, but it doesn't start always as having a specific talent to vlog, at least not with most. And when people who build an audience off their very intimate lives, well, I don't think it's wrong for the audience to start to ask a lot of questions about things that have not been made public, that these people have not made public themselves. And I think a lot of the times, those questions, one of those can be, what do they do for money? Because it's not nice to go asking a random person, what do you do for money? How do you make money? But content creation, even TikTok, especially with the rate that they upload, takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And it seems that at least with one of them is a stay-at-home dad. How can they afford that? What do they do that enables them to build a following off recording so much of their lives that enables so much spare time? They do seem to have quite a lot of it. Nothing wrong with having that, but why? Especially in very economically sensitive times as now, when so many people are in debt and it's very difficult. You wonder, how are they pulling this off? And I don't think that's a hard question to ask. As far as I know, and I can't claim to be a super fan, they have not made their careers public as what they do currently. Their backstory of both of them having been in theater, musical theater to be specific, and having been performers, that's very widely known. But what are they doing now? And yeah, when I've seen their TikToks pop up, I've asked questions. That's come to my mind. Not that I'm commenting saying, hey, I want to know, show me your tax returns at all. Up until very recently, when one of them, Stuart, posted this holiday picture, and you can see the caption about him joining Arbonne. So that post, I was like, wait, what? What? Am I seeing that name right? Arbonne? So what is that? Why does that name stand out? So some of you probably knows what that is and some of you don't. Arbonne is a multi-level marketing company. It is the kind of company where individual people can sign up to sell products, kind of like door-to-door sales. And while you can sell it theoretically door-to-door, if the company allows so, mainly the way the company wants you to sell is just either by your own personal friend group, so posting on Facebook, and recruiting other people to sell for you. And recruiting other people to sell also is called having a downline, so people beneath me. So that's the multi-level part of it. So I sign up and I can make some money off selling just the products. And then also I can have you sign up under me and I get a cut of whatever sale you make of the products, and so on and so on. And many people below the different levels, whatever they sell in products, I get a commission with also. So a lot of you who hear the word multi-level marketing are probably gasping, and you know what it is. I don't think I need to explain too much about what multi-level marketing is. The multi-level marketing, I should say the anti-MLM community, has been a big thing on YouTube from about 2016 to it peaked, I think, around 2020. There were a lot of content creators, and still are, who are making a big following and taking down multi-level marketing companies, which have been compared to being pyramid schemes or Ponzi schemes. And they are legal, but there's the argument that all multi-level marketing companies are basically just pyramid schemes and very an unethical business model, because only people who have the most recruits make any kind of money, while the people below at the bottom of the lower levels are desperately trying to find more, but often the market's too saturated, they don't have a big friend group, they're not good at sales, they aren't able to sell enough products, and often multi-level marketing companies require a pretty decent investment. They like to claim, oh, you don't have to pay anything, you just make money off, you can just make money off product sales, which theoretically is true for some, but a lot of the times, the only way of making money that would be worth your time and effort in finding people to sell to is by just, again, recruiting and making residual income off other people's sales, either by recruiting other people or just other people selling products. So we think we know what multi-level marketing is. They kind of established that. So when I saw that, I'm like, so Stuart and Francis's income is a multi-level marketing company, Arbonne. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of multi-level marketing companies. I think the ones that a lot of you will be most familiar with are Avon and Mary Kay, because those are multi-level marketing. You need to recruit people to make money. But historically, those companies have been around for a while, and a lot of people would sell just by having like parties, kind of sales, makeover parties or whatever. Arbonne has been around for quite some time, and Arbonne is kind of like the target of multi-level marketing companies because they sell everything. They just got like all sorts of stuff. They have protein shakes and wellness products and makeup and houseware. They got like everything. Like they're one of those, most multi-level marketing companies focus on one kind of product or maybe expand it later. Arbonne just has it all. They've been around for a while, but like many of the other multi-level marketing companies that have gotten big, and then dropped off. Arbonne had their series of scandals. The business model is shady. It's exploitative. The products aren't that good. They're people who sell, like, for them, like any other, are more interested in just getting people to recruit to sell rather than actually selling the actual products and all. So Arbonne is not immune. You can go ahead and put Arbonne scandal or multi-level marketing scandal. There's so many videos, I don't need to really go into that too much. But again, focus on, like, Stuart and Francis make money off of Arbonne. Are they top-level distributors? And the answer is yes, they are. Now, it's interesting that other than that post, they've never talked about Arbonne on their social media. Their Stuart and Francis TikTok account with over 1 million followers is not at all affiliated with Arbonne, the company, even though they themselves are. Interesting that they've never they've never leveraged their social media, their biggest social media platform, to sell the thing that is making them the money that enables them to become influencers, which is something that, you know, other big TikTokers who are involved in multi-level marketing companies do. But then I think that's because, one, they know they get a lot of backlash and they don't want they don't want their Stuart and Francis as parents, TikToker parents profile affiliated with, you know, their financial backing. Those things can remain separate because they know their following would not appreciate that they're making money off what is very well known to be a very dangerous, exploitative, and unethical business model. And also, they don't need to. They're probably very high up. They're collecting so much residuals off the people below them that there's no point. They probably have not at all promoted an Arbonne product in a long time because at this point they've recruited so many people, they don't need to advertise Arbonne themselves. They got all the people below them doing that for them. So I just found that very interesting. So tracking their affiliation with Arbonne is very difficult because, again, I don't know exactly what year it was that they joined. It actually was Stuart that was the one that joined and got his then would-be husband Francis involved in Arbonne. So he was the one. I don't know the exact year, but it was sometime in the early 2010s, before any of them were really super active on social media, though there are some posts here and there about when he first started, which I'll go into. But that's an interesting time, and essentially he just got in at the right time where he didn't have to do as much work as it requires now to recruit for multi-level marketing because, you know, how hated these things have become makes it very difficult to get anyone in. And also, I just think Arbonne wasn't as saturated. So he just got in at the right time, and I can't say he didn't work hard to get his big downline of people below him, but definitely it's not as hard as it would take as of now. It was sometime in the early 2010s. That much I know. So the reputation of multi-level marketing companies kind of changed here and there. It kind of went up and down. When they started, again, think back to when Mary Kay first started or when Avon became a thing. I mean, they were always scammy and always kind of pushed for recruitment and getting people beneath you and bothering your friends to sell even if they didn't want to. But they used to be a little bit more generous about the whole, you can just make money selling the products. Again, the whole old-fashioned beauty parties for housewives kind of thing. But as time went on, they definitely pushed more be an entrepreneur and build a business kind of thing and recruit people. I mean, they always were about that, but then the recruiting became much more important. And then they definitely started to get really badly busted for being, pyramid schemes. In the 2000s, definitely. There was a lot of watchdog sites that saying don't do it and all. But these multi-level marketing companies and the seller people, they got savvy with social media. And I would say by the late 2000s, early 2010s, they were getting much better at kind of selling the dream. There's a podcast called The Dream about it. The first season about multi-level marketing, selling the dream, entrepreneurship, the products. Because again, with social media, and just the girl boss era of the early 2010s, then, the concept of, I can have a business, it's not really a business, but, recruiting people and running a big organization is like kind of having a business. So, I think a lot of you were around for that era of content and then the downfall of it, so I don't need to give a recap of that. But definitely by 2016, the mounting backlash against multi-level marketing was building up. In 2017, I remember it was blowing up. I was there for that era of YouTube. That was a fun time, wasn't it? It was a really fun time, and Reddit also. And just seeing the cringy posts on your high school friends' Facebook pages who had kids really young and desperately need money. So, my point is, it was Stuart who started a Arbonne in the early 2010s when, yeah, there was criticism out there, but it was harder to find and it was kind of more trendy to do. And his story recounting how he got into Arbonne and why he wanted to is very well out there. And again, you could kind of get behind him a little bit because he wasn't making much money as an actor and he needed some money to supplement that and eventually move on when that would not be a viable career anymore. So again, this video can be found all over social media, posted at various different times throughout the last few years of the internet.
From the second I can remember, I wanted to be on stage, and I went to the top drama school in London. But unfortunately, sometimes when you follow your passion, you don't always create the income that you want. I moved into this house for 5 dancers, and one of them was Sarah Dunning. So she told me all about Arbonne, and it just fitted. The business that I really feel like I'm driving forward is a business of a new wave of entrepreneurship. Like, we literally have everything at our fingertips right now to create massive businesses all online. The fact that you have a really clear system that you can follow and there's support from everywhere around you to be successful, that's what makes this opportunity so unique. I wake up every morning so happy and so fulfilled and so grateful that I was bold enough to do something different.
Now, a big selling point of joining these companies is the people try to recruit you will say, oh, if you make it to the top, you get big prizes. The company rewards you with free cars, free trips, free this, free that, and everything. So, you know, the gifts are endless. It's never a free car, it's just a supplemented lease. But yes, in general, if you make it to the upper echelons, you do get free paid trips and gifts and stuff, and they can lavish you with a lot of nice things, which is why people join them hoping to. But again, it's so hard because, again, you're saying, hey, sell this, please. I'm like, no, I'll just work a normal job and get paid normal, but whatever. But when you do make it, the companies do treat you like, you know, royalty. And they will have you be at speaking events and they'll treat you like a celebrity. So you basically, when you make it to the top levels, you're like a mini celebrity within the company, basically. And it seems to be that very quickly Stuart reached that, because there is a video on YouTube posted in 2016 on some random channel, some of him speaking at an Arbonne event. I assume the person posting it was just also attending to record him. And he was talking about how he reached a high ranking within only 7 months. And the video was posted in 2016, but I don't actually know if it was recorded in 2016. Because again, tracking their timeline, I do think he started Arbonne earlier than that. But I don't think it was 2016. But it's a little speech about how he basically reached the higher rankings very quickly, kind of against the odds. Because, well, yeah, some people when they join, because they have a very big network, and Stuart and Francis are very social people, again, in the London theatre scene. So yes, I imagine that's what was a big boost. But some people just get lucky and have a big network, feel interested in. Some people are just good at sales. And of course, many people grind it out and get nowhere and go into debt. But anyway, so here's his speech.
April, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. We have been doing business Arbonne now for 7 months. I personally nearly got to district manager, but I didn't get there. So we are both consultants after 7 months. Francis, on our 8th month anniversary of Arbonne, Francis just got delivered a free Arbonne bag. I don't think that's fair. You can order it and he's got it for free.
Everyone has their own like sales tactic, whether you're selling a multi-level marketing product or maybe if you're just in sales in general for like a company or whatever. And some people will just, message cold people on Facebook or LinkedIn. Some people might invite you over and say, hey, let's catch up. And you're like, okay, sure. I haven't spoken to you in like 10 years and I didn't really like you at the end, but okay, sure. And you're like, good to see you. I have an opportunity for you. And the fact that they talked about like a presentation kind of thing tells me that their sales tactic was probably out of inviting people they know or just maybe posting it somewhere and saying, hey, like an opportunity. And then they did like a formal presentation, almost like passing off Arbonne, like as you would give a pitch deck to investors to invest in your company to make it seem more professional and that you're getting into something like really more serious, like a serious business and not just like hawking things at will, basically.
Basically, Francis did 4 presentations last month, and I did 3 personal presentations last month.
A lot of averages says you need to speak to 10 to find one, so that's the reason why we're still where we are.
I mean, I can see them doing that. Stuart and Francis are very put together. They're in theater. They're very good at performing. They're very good at putting on like what is the word? Like a professional kind of attitude and really making you feel confident and make with their confidence. I mean, they're very confident people and that's admirable. So I wonder if that's how they did it. Maybe they posted like, do you have Craigslist in England? I actually don't know if you have Craigslist, but I know a lot of multi-level marketings will post on Craigslist like job opportunity, inquire, and it's not a real job. It's more like, hey, invest and try to make money for yourself, basically. Or I don't know, or maybe they just invited friends they know. I mean, they clearly have a lot of friends. So, but the presentation tells me that's how they did it. They probably tried to make Arbonne appear more professional, more like getting in on a really exclusive business opportunity, like the stock market, insider trading, that kind of thing.
We got into network marketing and how you built such a successful business, what you have now.
Okay, cool. So my background before I heard about network marketing, before I even knew it existed, was musical theatre.
Yeah.
And so I was definitely looking for something else. And that's when network marketing came into my life. It was a complete accident. I moved in.
Brilliant. So Stuart, within that 3-year journey, in terms of attracting the right people so that you can help them grow their businesses or even clients into your business, what were the sort of challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
My challenges, I suppose that, well, I just think you're always faced with rejection. And I think that's one of the hardest things that but actually, as a performer, I was used to that rejection. But actually, when you start running your own business, and it felt a bit more of a personal attack against me for some reason, because I was like putting myself on the line.
So one of your key strengths is you've managed to attract a tribe that really, really resonates who you are, they're vibrant, energetic and funny. And within any type of business that people start in, it's really important to attract that ideal tribe. How do you think you've managed to do that and convey that?
I feel like one thing I am is I've got quite a big personality, but on the other side of me, the side that not many people really get to see is that like deep down I have like a slight shyness about me, so which by that it means I'm a really good listener. So I think that's actually been my strength.
So in the early 2010s, there wasn't as much social media to use to advertise, your multi-level marketing business. Still, a lot of people at this time were just kind of just inviting people over physically to talk about the products and not, just making very cringy boss babe posts on Facebook or saying, I'm an entrepreneur, I run a business because I bought $1,000 kit of products I don't know anything about. And again, if it was basically only social media based, Instagram wasn't really used at this time. It pretty much was just Facebook. And I don't know how much Stuart and Francis heavily used social media to advertise their business, if they did. If it's on Facebook, that information will be private, and I honestly can't spend weeks going back through a decade's worth of posts. But not Stuart, not Francis. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get their names confused and I switch them. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. No insult to them. But Stuart, see, I did it again. Sorry. Stuart did at one point, very early on when he was starting Arbonne, document himself and his thoughts starting it. I don't know where this video was originally posted, but it seems to be the case at one point he sent it to somebody else, possibly somebody he was trying to recruit into Arbonne, and they posted it on their YouTube channel as a way of being a testament to Arbonne. So I guess maybe for their own sake to show, hey, look, this person did very well in it. I'm going to do very well in it. So can you, which is what they typically do. They share like their people above them, the testimonials, because a lot of people don't have success in the company themselves. They just have to use other people's success stories. So Stuart's own testimony he made, in which he inserted clips of him documenting starting Arbonne when he did start it, was posted on this random channel in 2015. But again, because of the wording in it, you can see he started Arbonne much before that.
Right, as I said before, hi. This is the month of December. It's the 5th of December, and I'm in the cloakroom at Soho House. This is bad times. I'm basically doing this film so everyone can see that anyone can do this business. I've been doing it now since March. And I'm still a consultant, and I absolutely am going to Regional Vice President by the 1st of July. This is my new motivational month. I am going to Dubai this month, so I'm going to set myself a goal of getting at least one preferred client. I need to get out of Soho House. This is my need. This is, I was not born to get £6 in tips in Soho House, in a cloakroom, in a dingy room. I was born to be a millionaire.
So it's very weird because I'm upset that he joined Arbonne and got big on it, and is likely, as I speak now, both of them are exploiting a lot of people who are desperately trying to sell and recruit and hawk up dream and potentially put people in debt and hurt relationships. And there's so much damage these things can do that, again, so many other videos explained. But in that video captured in that time period of probably 2011, I kind of understand his motives, because at this time he was working at Coat Check and recording that from like a little closet in Soho House, a place I'll probably never be able to afford to go to myself. I barely know what Soho House is. And was trying to make it as an artist. And that's the thing. At that time, or very soon after, he would be in prestige musicals and get a lot of recognition in the theater community. So would his then would-be husband. And yet that's not enough, as with many artists who get big names. It's not necessarily enough to make a living off of it. And you clearly see that they're pursuing his passion, but he has to still, work that little menial job. And it makes sense that an artist would want to find a source of income that enables them to pursue their passion while still not working horrible jobs. And it's a struggle I have now. I'm an artist. Apart from this channel you see here, I do a lot of things. I get paid a little bit to write. It's not my income, but I'm a semi-professional writer. And I also love to draw, and I like to sew, and I have an art channel that's not much is going on there as well, but I love to upload stuff there occasionally. But it's time consuming. Having to work, I work a normal 9-to-5 job. It's really hard. And it makes sense to try to find something where you can either work when you want to, as again what these MLM companies promise, have income that's going to come in even when you're not necessarily actively involved in the business, like Stuart and Fans are with their downline that they have. And so you can pursue their passions, or be a content creator and have kids and all that, and be around with your kids 24/7. It's interesting that it seems to be both of them are stay-at-home dads, or at least one of them is, and yet multi-level marketing companies, a big selling point was to women being like, hey, you can finally be that stay-at-home mom you want, so you can be around your kids and not have them in daycare. But anyway, so that video, it tugs at my heartstrings because I get it. I would hate to be working so hard in theater, and that stuff's hard, to practice singing and dancing and all that, and not make enough money that I still have to work coat check at night and probably be dead tired all the time. But I don't think Arbonne was the way to do it, but it worked for him, so. Now, I have a question because I don't really know how Arbonne works. I have studied these multi-level marketing companies, and everyone has their kind of own little, a lot of them follow a very similar business model, but there's some variations in like certain policies they have on what you can and cannot do. Stuart joined for first and got his then would-be husband Francis involved. I know in other multi-level marketing companies, married couples cannot have one below the other because that's like an advantage. They don't allow that. If, say, two people with two seller accounts for the company get married, their seller accounts have to be like merged together, or like one has to just join the other. I know that's how with others, but I don't know how it is with Arbonne, because both, as I speak now, both Stuart and Francis's separate Arbonne websites that link to their Arbonne accounts are active. So they have separate Arbonne accounts, and I guess Francis is under Stuart. That's interesting because I think other multi-level marketing companies don't allow that. They say you can't recruit your spouse, or if you marry one, you have to merge them together. It's just something others have, I just know. So I think that's very strange. As I said before, they have not promoted Arbonne on their platforms. Occasionally, even as of more recently, as 2021 is the most recent I could find, they have appeared on Arbonne social media platforms. Arbonne has Instagram posts of them using the products. And what was known as Twitter, now X Post, also as well. So because they are still top distributors of the company and they're still actively collecting in Arbonne and are considered Arbonne success stories, although they don't necessarily promote themselves as Arbonne success stories to inspire other people to join the company under them, Arbonne still uses them as a success story to, well, promote Arbonne itself, obviously. So this whole thing started with wondering about finances and what they do for money. Now, multi-level marketing companies in the United States and in England are required to disclose the average income of all their distributors. And Arbonne does so in compliance. So Arbonne's income disclosure statement is available. Now, Francis shared Stuart, I'm sorry, I got third name, sorry. Stuart and both of them have shared that they're at what's the ranking that Arbonne calls ENVP, which is something vice president something. I think since then Arbonne changed their structure policies, because I couldn't find that in the list of rankings you can hit, but VP stands for vice president, and they're definitely in the vice president level of Arbonne. So you can see here by the income disclosure statement that the medium for those rankings are anywhere between £33,000 a year, £91,000 a year, and the average can be anywhere between £31,000 a year to £127,000 a year. I think we can assume, given their house, given that they paid for 2 surrogacies, that they're making above 6 figures, absolutely. And that's the most recent disclosure for 2023. 2024 obviously has not been released yet. So we can easily assume they're making above 6-figure salaries. That's the only way I can explain why they have the house they do, and again, can afford all the stuff as well. No, I don't think I'm overreaching by speculating on how wealthy they are. Again, so much of their life is shared and it's easy to figure out. Even without that, you could probably figure they were making above six figure. What I find really funny and interesting is before they started their TikTok, they actually did go viral and made notoriety before. So I found an article from The Sun from March 16th, 2020, so right as COVID was hitting, but we didn't know about it just yet. And this article is just kind of gold. Okay, so it reads, bit rich couple who spend £60,000 on holiday swap trips with poor family of five who stay at campsite on rich holiday, poor holiday. So I don't know if it's like some reality show, kind of like Wife Swap, but it's like switching holidays kind of thing. I'm not sure what that is. So it reads, a wealthy couple who go on holiday every month swapped getaways with a family of five who usually stay at all-inclusive campsites on last night's rich holiday, poor holiday. So some reality show or something, which I assume may have been filmed prior and was airing around the time COVID was happening. Stuart and his fiancée, Frances, who live with their Yorkshire Terrier, Dolly, in a £1 million house in Buckinghamshire, blow around £60,000 a year on lavish trips. I'm going to pause right there and just let you know that lavish trips, I'm willing to bet, are trips that Arbonne sends them on since they're top distributors and constantly earning prizes for, well, making so much money for the company and themselves. That's what these things do. So I don't think they're necessarily spending all that money themselves. It's probably partially funded by Arbonne, but whatever. The pair went on holiday every month last year, jetting to a luxury destination including Hawaii and the Alps. They run a successful nutrition company. No, they don't. It's not their company. Arbonne, yeah, I think one of their main products they're known for is nutrition, and but it's not their company. They don't own Arbonne. And say their idea of a holiday hell is other Brits and British food. Stuart said, we are super fussy when it comes to food and the quality of the food as well. Frances added, a nightmare holiday for me would be in the area where they only serve the worst British food, so it would be like eggs and chips. Okay, so you can see pictures of them, the trips they took and all. And again, so it says they go on a vacation. It said they go on a vacation every month. That's because they don't have to be confined to a conventional job because they're collecting residual income off their downline. How else would they? Stuart went even further, saying, when we go away, we hate being around English people. We like there to be slightly exclusive vibe. Unfortunately for them, the pair were swapping trips with the Warriors, who enjoy caravan holiday and all-inclusive deals on the Channel 5 show. Can anyone get a copy of this episode? That would be so interesting. Okay, so it's basically a recap of like some reality show like Wife Swap, but they were on like a vacation swap thing. Okay, interesting. So I guess this episode showed how posh and bougie they are because, of course, how much money they make, which of course is Arbonne, which it doesn't say here, but the journalists of this article, and I guess the TV show didn't bother to look into that, or it wasn't relevant to go too far into how scammy their income was, but whatever, you get the idea. So what do I want y'all to take away from this? Well, it's tough. I don't think they're bad people. I said good people do bad things, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes because they don't know better, or it's just very easy to ignore. And I guess the big takeaway is no one is that perfect. A lot of people, because look, parenting content on TikTok is very controversial, and many TikTokers bigger than them have gotten huge scandals for a lot of, well, issues related to this kind of content, which there's a lot of criticism of. And I think it's interesting that pretty much, even though they're in kind of a controversial space of content, they've dodged most of the criticism because, well, you know, they have not had public mess ups, and they seem to be doing all the things that critics of the parenting influencer genre of content say parents should do to ensure that the children are, you know, safe and happy, even if their lives are public. And so to people who don't look into it, it can, you know, seem like they're so perfect, you know. They would be the most caring, ethical people because they're considered the more ethical kinds of parenting influencers in a space that's considered very unethical. But no one's that perfect. So I guess that's the one takeaway. I just think this whole thing was very interesting to look into. Let me know what you think.
you.